secret military origins of the internet. Born in fear, refined in secrecy, the internet was designed to survive nuclear war and track population. Every click today echoes its military past. Today, the internet feels like the bloodstream of modern civilization. It powers our workplaces, fuels our entertainment, guides our navigation, and connects our relationships. We carry it in our pockets, speak to it through virtual assistants, and feed it every detail of our daily lives, often without a second thought. But the origin story you've been told, the one about idealistic programmers, entrepreneurial geniuses, and university researchers, leaves out a darker truth. Because the internet was not born from dreams of freedom, it was born from fear. Long before emails, memes, viral videos, and social networks, the foundations of the modern internet were laid inside the Pentagon, inside Cold War command centers, and inside US-funded counterinsurgency labs around the world. This is the secret military history of the internet. Before the internet, a world in crisis. In order to comprehend the internet origin, we should go back to 1950s when the world was on the verge of being destroyed by the nuclear bomb. The Soviet Union and the United States were in a Cold War. However, this fight was not confined to superpower confrontations or rocket launches. Revolutions were going on in Asia, in Africa, and in Latin America. They were not conventional wars. They were decentralized guerrilla uprisings, political insurgencies where the enemy was indistinguishable with the local populations, and the US faced a terrifying realization. You can't defeat an invisible enemy, but you can monitor an entire population. Out of this came a new military doctrine, counterinsurgency, a belief that control comes not from overwhelming firepower, but from understanding and influencing the hearts, minds, movements, and behaviors of civilian populations. To accomplish that, the US needed better tools capable of gathering enormous volumes of information, tracking it, categorizing it, and turning it into actionable intelligence. A radical idea began to take shape. Create a system that could monitor, process, and analyze vast amounts of human data instantly, from anywhere. A global nervous system, the seed of what would eventually become the internet. ARPA, the agency that would change everything. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the world's first satellite. The beeping metal sphere wasn't just a scientific milestone, it was a threat. If the Soviets could put an object into orbit, they could put weapons there too. In response, President Eisenhower created the Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, an organization designed not simply to conduct research, but to anticipate and prevent technological surprises. At first, ARPA focused on rocketry and early computing. But in the 1960s, as the conflict in Vietnam intensified, ARPA's mission shifted dramatically. Under Kennedy and Johnson, ARPA was tasked with helping the US understand and counter a new kind of enemy, one spread across villages, rice fields, and dense forests. This new mission required new tools, and so ARPA invested heavily in behavioral prediction research, population monitoring, early artificial intelligence, remote sensing, the first battlefield sensor networks, and massive computer databases for tracking people. Behind the scenes, ARPA was becoming not just a research agency, but the architect of a future global surveillance infrastructure. It needed a way to connect researchers, command centers, and intelligence analysts across the country. The solution would become ARPANET, the direct ancestor of today's internet. But to understand why ARPANET mattered, we have to look at the war that shaped it. Vietnam, the war that built the internet. The Vietnam War wasn't just a military conflict, it was a technological laboratory. ARPA saw Vietnam as an opportunity to test emerging systems of population monitoring and data-driven warfare. Social scientists were deployed to villages to collect information on political loyalties, family structures, rumors, economic conditions, and suspected insurgent activity. This data, millions of records, needed new ways to be stored, organized, and analyzed. Under pressure, computer scientists developed interactive computing, modern database architectures, real-time data processing, user accounts and access logs, and early forms of machine learning. ARPA also funded remote sensors that littered the jungles of Vietnam. Motion detectors, sound sensors, even chemical sensors that could detect urine from enemy soldiers. These fed information to aircraft and command centers, creating one of the first automated surveillance and strike systems in history. By the late 1960s, the military had learned something profound. To control a battlefield or a population, you need a network. A network that collects everything, remembers everything, survives anything. This realization set the stage for ARPANET. The birth of ARPANET. In 1969, ARPA connected 4 computer nodes: UCLA, Stanford Research Institute, UC Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. It called the system ARPANET. On October 29, 1969, a programmer at UCLA attempted to send the word login. The system crashed after 2 letters. The first message ever sent over what would become the internet was simply LO. ARPANET was built using a revolutionary idea: packet switching, a method developed by RAND researcher Paul Barron. Instead of sending messages along one fragile route, information was broken into packets that could travel independently across many pathways. If one node was destroyed, the message would still get through. This is where the famous description comes from, that the internet was designed to survive nuclear war. And while that's true on a technical level, the deeper purpose was broader: build a communications network that could survive disruptions while continuing to gather, transmit, and process intelligence data. Academics were invited to join ARPANET not because the network was a free research tool, but because civilian users produced enormous amounts of data and communication patterns, perfect for testing and refining a system originally designed for military information flow. The DNA of the internet was set. Surveillance comes home. Tools built abroad often come home. In the early 1970s, ARPA-funded systems were secretly employed to spy upon U.S. citizens, particularly anti-war groups, civil rights organizations, student factions, and journalists. Huge domestic databases monitored political beliefs, associations, protests attendance, organizational connections, and communication networks. These programs would later be exposed as unconstitutional, but the infrastructure remained. The belief that technology could monitor and manage society had already taken root. The birth of the public internet, myth versus history. ARPANET was finally upgraded to TCP/IP in 1983, the universal protocol which continues to rule online communications today. This is generally regarded as the creation of the modern internet. In the following 10 years, military systems have changed, and ARPANET was divided into civilian and classified networks. Meanwhile, Tim Berners-Lee developed the WWW, World Wide Web, allowing common people to access online information using browsers and hyperlinks. By the middle of the 90s, the internet exploded in the consciousness of the population. Silicon Valley took the position of utopian prophet, offering a fresh world of freedom, equality, creativity, and decentralized communication. However, the basic design of the internet remained the same. It was still built for data collection, user identification, traceability, resilience under attack, and centralized oversight. The idealistic vision masked a deeper continuity: the rise of big tech and the return of military logic. As the internet commercialized, corporations discovered the same truth that ARPA had decades earlier. If you can track behavior, you can predict behavior. And if you can predict behavior, you can influence it. Google perfected the art of search-driven data extraction. Facebook built a global behavioral map of social relationships. Amazon tracked purchasing patterns and logistics at a planetary scale. Apple turned personal devices into biometric sensors carried everywhere. And slowly, the wall between big tech and big government evaporated. Google partnered with intelligence agencies. Amazon built the CIA's cloud infrastructure. Palantir offered predictive policing and military intelligence platforms. Facebook's psychological profiling resembled Cold War population studies. The internet's original purpose, collect, analyze, influence, was returning in corporate form. Surveillance didn't disappear, it became profitable. The next time someone tells you the internet was created to connect the world, you'll know there's more to the story. A story written in secrecy, forged in conflict, and still unfolding today. Thank you for watching. If you find this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in next video.